Oh, yeah. Comedypipe.com.
That is right, folks. Show 178. Still wetting that dick down right here on Pipedream on the Comedy Pipe Radio Network. Please stay tuned for the next hour for the potentially most interactive comedy radio show on the planet. My wife having to adjust her entire style to take pictures from back here. It's going to be an interesting background of this picture, let me tell you. My friends call me 3D. Please join us on Skype. Skype us at Comedy Pipe. Twitter us at Comedy Pipe. Join us on the YouTube feed if you're listening on the just the audio stream. Watch the show live. Jefferson is here.
Yo.
Taking thought shots.
What up?
I actually saw a sign at work, and I wanted to take a picture, but I didn't want to do it.
What's a thought shot?
I'm not sure exactly. It's the name of the song.
Yeah, it's
playing underneath.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Mike D. Thought shots.
Mike D.
The sign at work said "Thought Farmer," and I really wanted to take a picture of it and send it to you, but I didn't want to get caught taking a picture of that because then
Sure,
I
well, you gotta be aware of your surroundings.
Yeah.
Taking pictures in public. Sometimes it looks creepy.
It was a little awkward. What do you thought farmer?
Yeah.
I didn't want to have to explain that. To someone like Joe walking up to me and going, what the fuck are you doing?
Exactly.
And then have to explain what I was doing.
No, I wouldn't. I'd make somebody else do it.
Take a picture for me of the thought farmer sign. Yeah, that's what you ponder. That's what it said. It was something, then in parentheses, thought farmer.
Like a daycare?
I don't know. It was some workshop, but the first thing I thought of was thought
Sounds
shots.
evil.
It was like the PC version of thought shots. It was thought farmer, or more the Silicon Valley.
Sounds evil to me.
Something. Our guest from Revolution Vape, our sponsor, with 72 flavors of premier e-juices for your vaping pleasure. Jeremy is joining us for the first time. We've talked about this for a while, getting you on the air. It is finally here.
Hello, I'm glad to be here.
I don't know if that microphone's on and or working. Yeah, or just get up on there. Yeah, get it probably right.
What does that stand? Not stand?
It stands. He's just goofying it.
Hello.
Yes, Jeremy, welcome to the show.
I'm here now.
Thank you. We have a working mic.
You are here now.
This does work. And,
We'll ease into it.
yeah, we're going to transition from microphone. He was torn on what seat to sit in to begin with.
Not one of these two, let me tell you.
Definitely not one of those two. It would not happen.
Vanilla ass whoop sandwich.
The reason for him not wanting to sit in the normal seat was a very interesting reason, and multiple camera shots are being taken this week, folks.
Yeah,
that's what you're getting. You're missing on the YouTube.
I hope she's getting my good
My
side.
lovely wife taking pictures of the show.
You're missing it
I'm
on
smiling
YouTube.
so she doesn't see my chip tooth.
Because I sat here so no
I'm
one
so
would see
self-conscious of
the
Yeah.
purple wind pants I'm
The
wearing.
purple wind pants that they are what, CBA? Is that was it?
I went to school at CBA.
The purple wind pants. I work like a stone's throw from
These
there.
were our track warm-up uniforms.
And
I
they
shouldn't have them. We
still
should have.
fit.
They do still fit.
You got to get right up on there. That's how these microphones work. There you go. I know it's a little intimidating. You're not used to having this phallic object pointing at your mouth, but
All up
unfortunately, get right up on it.
Functionable,
Right up
fashionable,
on it.
and they make
Right
noise.
up on it.
Lick the tip.
So we will be calling our guest this evening,
Yes.
Kevin Brown, aka.com,
From the hit show 30 Rock.
and stand-up joints all over. I don't know why I said joints, but stand-up establishments. That's
Joints works?
Joints. Yeah. I don't know. I was trying to be fancy
We
there.
can say
Just
fuck.
like, yeah.
It's okay.
All over the United States, actually. He
It's a comedy
goes fucking everywhere. He is an established
kind of a
comedian.
big deal.
He's a little bit of a big deal. We talked to him briefly before we went on the air, and technology may or may not be a friend of ours. We'll see. We're going to call him here shortly, so stay tuned for Kevin Brown. Is definitely going to be joining us in some facet. He wanted to do the Skype, so I think technology may be beating him right now as it
he's
beat
wicked,
me up.
He's wicked smart.
Wicked smart.
It just takes a minute.
It just takes a minute. Technology has not been a friend of mine. The show almost didn't even go on, but we are here
But here we
making
are.
shit work because that's what I do.
That's how you do it.
That's
That's why we call you 3D.
That's been the slogan for a long time. 3D. He makes shit work.
Yeah.
It's very simple. It's very precise, but it is accurate.
He makes it go.
I don't know if I make it go, but I make it work. Only when it's broken, though.
After you
Well,
break
no,
it.
I yes. And that's one of the things. I don't know if I broke it or it just broke, and that's what eats me.
We'll go with a little bit of both.
It's probably I did do a lot of rewiring, and everything was wired properly, and just said no. I don't want to listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
The computer literally said I don't want to listen to you because it was the microphone that was the problem.
Goddamn AI, man.
You think AI is really is really in my computer?
I like it.
Messing with my microphone.
Skynet will get here soon enough.
The FBI in my computer listening to the show.
I would get along with the Terminator better than I get along with most people. So I don't know. Artificial intelligence, I like it better. I mean, obviously people like it better because they're. But
what kind of artificial intelligence are you talking about? This brings us into again topic that we get on in the
most
green
people
room.
that I know have a preference to technology-based stimulation, video games and stuff like that, and texting and Facebook.
Well, what I'm talking about AI is the difference between Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger AI, and like Kit.
Well, Facebook
from Knight Rider AI.
Because Kit cooperates. Kit's like, I'm smart, but I'm your buddy.
Yeah,
I'm going to help you. Facebook is the Terminator. Except it doesn't shoot you in the face. It melts your brain. Which is still socially bad either way.
I think I'd want my AI to be friendly at least before it tried to kill me.
Yeah, like if it could drive you to the store,
I'm
that
obviously
would be sweet.
biased towards Kit, but that's, if my AI is going to kill me, be nice to me, swoon me, be my buddy.
Yeah, I think Google's doing that. The self-driving Kit car.
Google, oh yeah, they've definitely done it. It's crashed a couple times into people.
Well, that's going to happen.
It happens.
Kit's not perfect. It's artificial intelligence, not artificial imperfection. It's intelligence sometimes has loopholes.
Is that what's going on? The intelligence loophole here.
There's certain parts of the country you can see that loophole.
Yes.
When you see mullets, parts. You're in loophole country.
Yeah.
We're on the same page.
All right, so I think I'm going to try to give him a call. What do you think?
Okay. Roll the dice.
We'll see what happens here.
Worst we can do is get his voicemail.
That's right.
Yeah.
We'll be
Fuck like, you guys.
That's good.
That'd be funny if he picked up right then.
Oh, shit. That's funny. Oh, that's
Kevin Brown, live in the air. Welcome to Pipe Dream on the Comedy Pipe Radio Network.
Hey.
How are you, sir? Were you actually calling me at the second I was calling you?
I'm calling you now. I'm using what do you call it?
Oh
Skype.
my gosh.
That is just an amazing for us to actually dial each other at the same time randomly. We have beaten the odds of the lotto, I think, my friend.
Yeah, that's a cosmic coincidence right there. That's
that is next level stuff. And now I don't know which one would have worked better. And now I'm torn.
Well, this sounds good, so let's not jump out of this good boat.
I think I fixed the problem. You sound great. KevinBrown.com. See, it just kind of rolls off the tongue. Now, just KevinBrown.com. Is the AKA, is that something like you like having the separation, or are you a fan of the flow?
No, the AKA is just the cultural demand. Like, .com is my street name. Like, before 30 Rock, everyone was calling me .com.
I understand. My friends call me 3D, and it goes back years and years and years. So I understand the namesake there, and it does help, at least for me, separate church and state a little bit between personal and business.
Yes, definitely.
How did .com come about?
Well, in the comedy world, the stand-up comedy world, or the urban world, we all have these nicknames, right? These slide nicknames. So there's JB Smooth. I think JB Smooth's real name is Jerry Brooks or something like that. And then there's Earthquake, and I don't know what Earthquake's real name is. And then there's Cat Williams. It's like he used to be Cat in the Hat.
3D loves Cat Williams.
No, I just love watching the adventures of Cat Williams.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So do I.
That sounds like a cautionary kids book.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised he hasn't been offered a reality series yet. Like, it could be like it's just Cops with Cat Williams.
You know what? He might make a great reality show. Can you show Brandy and Drag doing a reality show? I don't know.
Yeah, it's called Cops.
HBO.
Yeah, on HBO. It'll be an HBO version on Cops. It'll be great.
Yeah. I agree with that. So yeah, so everybody had these fly stage names. So of course I was Big Kev when I first started comedy. And then everybody was calling themselves Big Kev because I made the name, I was promoting the name a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I need a way to distinguish myself from all these other Big Kevs. So I added the .com, and I was going by the name of BigKev.com. And that's a mouthful. So some people would still call me Big Kev, some people call me .com, some people call me .com, just a whole, any variation of that.
So there you go, Joe. That's there you go, .com.
Nice.
I don't know that I could ever look you in the eye and call you .com. I don't knowing.
Probably wouldn't remember it when he got done with you.
Yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't matter.
I'm 6'3", but I'm a scrawny twig. You're much larger than I, and there was no way I could look you in the eye and even try to say .com. I mean,
He's really good at martial arts.
Yeah,
and you kind of more have a paw technique.
Yeah, it would not be pretty at all. So in your 30 Rock role, you were a bouncer, and you were a kind of very particular bouncer. In real life, if you had to, for whatever reason, take up a job as a bouncer tomorrow, what kind of bouncer would you be? Would you be a gentle giant, or would you be a stickler to the rules and get in there and scrap if you needed to?
Well, I was a bouncer for a long time, for a lot of years, as I was growing up. So, I worked at 50 different clubs across the country.
It's a lot of clubs.
So I did that for a long time.
He's like Patrick Swayze.
Yeah, really.
Roadhouse. Just roadhouse people.
Yeah. But
That's cool.
what happens is the street game changed. Because the thing about being a bouncer at a club, at the hood clubs, because I was a bouncer at hood clubs, if you throw somebody out, they know where to find you on Saturday night.
Yep.
And that's never good. That's never good. But you don't know where to find them, but they know where to find you, and they know between what hours you're going to be there. So
it requires a lot of discretion is required.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you wanted to keep your job, if you wanted to, keep surviving in the industry, you have to use some kind of sense. So I'm the guy that uses sense.
Okay. I've had to adjust my life with messing with people anywhere around my house, whether they are causing a problem or not, because of the same reason. They will know where I live.
Yeah, man.
So I don't walk out of my home anymore. I do the sensible, smart thing and just call the police. And I stay in my house because I live on a main road and
then 45 minutes later they show up. Half an hour after everything ended.
Crazy things happen around my house, and I've got cameras everywhere, and I get home and things are not where they were when I left. And I go back and look at the video, and it is the craziest, dumbest shit I've ever seen. It's right in front of my house. So yeah, don't mess with people where they know where to find you is the moral of the show so far.
Well, that's the moral. You have cameras too? I have 7 cameras around my house.
Yep, I got about 8. So we're they are good to have. And the only reason why I actually have them is because the day after I moved into this house, somebody broke into my car. And then I realized I left the door unlocked. So I said, if I'm going to do that again, I might as well have cameras. So I went out and bought cameras. It was just a quick smack to the face, and cameras were had 24 hours later.
And lock your fucking door.
Yeah, and lock my door, dumbass.
It's connected.
Yeah, it's not a horrible neighborhood, but it's not great.
Right.
So yeah, I know what you mean. Said with pride. So where can people find you hitting the stand-up circuit these days?
Oh man, I'm all over the place, dude. I'm going to North Carolina tomorrow, as a matter of fact, and then I'm in Huntsville. I'm at UNC Charlotte tomorrow. If anybody is listening in Charlotte, and then I'm in Huntsville, Alabama. What's that?
I'm saying they're still crying after that game.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even put the two together. That's right. But,
there you go. Incorporate that in your act and piss a lot of people off. It'll be great.
Yeah.
Did Jordan actually, was that a real picture or was that like Photoshop that I saw where he was crying in the car?
Oh, that's a real picture.
Awesome.
That's
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's good.
Yeah, I saw a picture. Somebody showed me a picture too. That was funny.
All right, so Alabama, UNC.
Yeah, I'm running all over the place. I'm in Huntsville, Alabama, and on the 20th of April, I'm at the University of Alabama at Huntsville is what it's called. And then I'm coming out to Schenectady on the 30th of April.
Oh, Nina.
That was supposed to be the
Oh, yeah, I didn't have my sound effects ready to go because that's the in-house show here. The big news. Kevin.com Brown will be in Schenectady.
826 State Street at the Quest Theater.
April 30th.
April 30th. 826 State Street, April 30th. Dude.
There we go. There was the chanting we missed there. Okay, quick chanting on the 30th. That's going to be a great show. .com, it's going to be great to meet you.
Yes, and I'm bringing my joke contest with me. I'm bringing the One Joke Wonder with me. So it's a joke contest where anybody in the audience can come on stage and they have 90 seconds to tell their funniest joke. And they win all kinds of trophies and prizes and all kinds of goodies, T-shirts and stuff. And if you're not a real comedian, if you're not a professional comedian, but you know at least one funny joke, you can get into this contest, the One Joke Wonder. I'm looking for the funniest joke.
One joke is all you'll need, folks.
Interesting.
One joke is all you'll need. I see Facebook /CABUNCC. Oh, this is for the wrong show. It just happened to say One Joke Wonder, so I started reading. It just happens when it's almost like you're giving cue cards here to yourself. It was
Is it true that you did not ever hear of Tina Fey before the show? Before being
No, that's true. That is true.
How did that happen?
The show was called the Tina Fey Unnamed Project, and I had no idea who Tina Fey was. I was not watching SNL during those years.
Okay, all right.
And I wasn't even checking for it. So they asked me to come down and check, and read for it or interview for it. And I was like, well, nah, I'm good. No, thank you. Because I didn't know who she was. But when I met her, oh my goodness. Incredible.
Wanted to sweep her right off her feet. She's a tiny little thing, isn't she?
Yeah, she is tiny. She is tiny. But her talent, man, she is super talented. She has a great work ethic. I got a chance to hang with her a couple of times over the seasons. Like, we're at the Screen Actors Guild Awards, and it's the Screen Actors Guild Awards. It's not like the Emmys. Emmys is auditorium style. Screen Actors Guild is tables, and you're seated in front of a dinner setting. So you're eating, and you're being served food while the show is going on. So they have these place settings, like if you go to a wedding reception. And I got in there a little earlier than Tina, and I noticed my place setting was right next to Tina Fey's. So I felt bad. I felt a little embarrassed because I'm like, oh man, we're in a room filled with celebrities, filled with stars, and Tina Fey got to sit next to me. I know she's going to be disappointed, right? So when she comes in, because she had to go through the paparazzi and the whole red carpet thing. So when she comes in and comes to the table, I say, oh, Tina, I'm so sorry. They got me sitting next to you. And she said, .com, I asked them to sit you here. I was like, oh, really? She didn't have to do that. That was so sweet. So I got a chance to sit next to her throughout the whole 3 hours. And that's where I learned that this chick is super duper hilarious. Like she heckles everything in life. Every time somebody made a move, every time somebody walked by, every time someone walked on stage, she had something funny to say about it.
Everyone,
and she punches like a sailor.
I was gonna say a ball buster. I love it.
Most everyone's attempt at an inner monologue is her hilarious outer monologue.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and if you're not sitting right next to her, you won't even know she's saying anything.
that is a skill. I need more people at work that can use that skill, so you don't have to hear them, but they can still be hilarious and do their thing. Because sometimes it's not hilarious. Sometimes it's not hilarious at all. Not hilarious at all.
So what is a Wolfox karate?
Well, Wolfox karate started in the Bronx. It's actually a martial arts system.
Oh, right.
That is a combination of Shotokan karate and Taekwondo karate. So it's sort of a hybrid of two different martial arts styles.
Mixed.
And it started in the projects in the Bronx, and Bronx River projects, the dangerous, notorious Bronx River projects, which is where there was this famous gang called the Black Spades that ran the Bronx back in the days. And this martial arts system was developed out of there, and it just made a whole bunch of, like, we were just like in the karate movies. We would go and train at our dojos, and we travel around town and raid other people's dojos, just like in the kung fu movies.
All right, I gotta ask, and I hope that you don't get offended. Was there some guy in some period, because I'm imagining the time frame when this happened, that dressed up like Shonuff?
Well, you know what? My brother, my older brother, who was also my karate instructor, he was in the movie The Last Dragon. He played the character Beast.
Okay.
So Beast was Shonuff's right-hand man, right?
Shonuff.
Yeah.
I love the shades.
My brother, shades. Yeah, my brother was. But here was the whole story. There used to be a show, I don't know if it's still on now, Entertainment Tonight.
Yeah,
still on. They had this open casting call for black belts, for martial artists, to be in this movie called The Last Dragon. So hundreds of martial artists went down for the audition. And my brother, who's also my karate instructor, he won the role. My brother came in first place.
Wow.
Right? So my brother was the original Shonuff. He won the prize to play the character Shonuff.
Who knew? Like, I don't know if that's even something that I could Google and find out. But the fact that I even brought Shonuff up and had to preface, please don't be angry about this. And there was actually the correlation is just blowing my mind right now.
Yeah. So I actually worked on the movie. Myself and all of my friends, all of our black belt friends worked on the movie The Last Dragon.
I love that movie. Papa Green.
I know Time well. I knew Julius Carey, who played Shonuff before he passed away. I was in a couple of scenes. Like, I was in a couple of the fight scenes with The Last Dragon. But my brother was really in it. Like, he was Shonuff's right-hand man.
All right, but here's the big question: did you get credits in The Last Dragon?
Who cares? It's an.
I didn't get credit. I didn't get credit. My brother got credit. My brother was all in it.
I would get credit. I'd be like, I was in The Last Dragon. It's
see, I was disappointed when I did read that your part in the movie The Departed, you weren't in the credits. I'm like, come on, what do they have a conspiracy on budgeting screen time for credits? For The Last Dragon, there was a lot of us that were putting the movie together. They used a lot of black folks that I grew up with,
just hanging out, kind of like
to do the fight scenes, right?
That's cool. That's so cool.
But they didn't want it to be a straight up urban movie. So if you watch the movie, they started pulling out some of the black guys and putting in an Asian guy and a white guy, a Chinese guy, so they made it a real mix. So I just happened to be one of the guys that stood out. I caught their eye when they were coming to pull people out, and I was one of the guys they pulled out.
Yeah, because it looked how big you were and said, "Oh, he knows martial arts. We're not pulling this guy out."
Yeah. So if you Netflix it, there was a big fight in the movie theater. If you go to Netflix, it if you haven't seen the movie recently, there was a big fight in the movie theater, and then there was like a big Mexican guy who comes up and punches Showing Up. I was that guy. That was the role. That was the part I had.
That is incredible.
You're the big Mexican guy. You love it.
Yeah, and they threw me out and put the big Mexican guy in.
Oh.
My fist was going to be Mexican. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, and then in The Departed, check this out. So in The Departed, I was an extra. Right, I used to do background work for a couple of years.
Yep.
So I was an extra in The Departed, and we were shooting this scene, and they called us to go to a jail cell, like a jail in Brooklyn. There was a, what do you call it? I guess the jail system or their courthouse had the jails under the courthouse, but it was closed for a while, right?
Like a locker.
So we were shooting The Departed in a jailhouse in Brooklyn. And we were there all day, and it just made me really uncomfortable. I had never been locked up before. I didn't want to be there, and I just started getting uncomfortable being in this jailhouse all day, even though I wasn't locked up. I just wasn't comfortable being there.
Yeah,
so I was trying to leave.
Nobody wants to sit in an electric chair and chill.
You know? Well, you know what? They had stuff like that. They had creepy prison stuff all around, right? And they had us in the orange jumpsuits, and I had done a couple of scenes in the orange jumpsuits, but I wasn't comfortable, so I wanted to leave.
Yeah, like a mistake could be made here. This could be. It's just not. No.
Yeah. So they when they let half the people leave, and I tried to jump into the group with that half of the people that was leaving. And then one guy came to me while I was changing, and he pulled me out the dressing room. He said, "No, Kevin, you can't leave." So now I'm an extra. Why are you telling me an extra can't leave? I'm not even, pivotal. I'm not even on the script. Why are you telling me I can't leave? Apparently, they wanted to do this scene where Leonardo DiCaprio was in the jail cell, and he has a big black guy looking over his shoulder like the big black guy is going to get him. And, famous fantasy around white boy don't go to prison, right? Big black guy in the cell type thing.
Yeah.
But I'm an extra, so nobody told me this. So when I was trying to leave, they wouldn't let me leave. And then they put me in this jail cell in the scene with Leonardo DiCaprio. And I don't know what's going on. I don't know why they won't let me leave. And then they start centering on me. Leonardo DiCaprio standing in front of the cell. They put me in the cell, and they tell all the other guys to look down, and they tell me to look at Leo. But they can't, since I'm not in the script, they're only paying the extras. We're getting paid $120 a day.
Yeah, flat.
You're not supposed to, so but they featured me in the movie in this scene, not trying to play me. So Martin Scorsese comes over, they introduce me to Martin Scorsese, the Captain comes over, he says, "What's up?" But he's in character. so they ended up using me in this shot, in the trailer for The Departed, where more people saw me in that trailer of The Departed than anything I had done to that date. Just in the trailer. And I was like, well, guys, I'm trying to get them to pay me more. If you pay me as a principal, I stay all day. I stay all week if you pay me. But you trying to pay me $120.
Leo's getting $45 million. Yeah. Yeah.
I got to tell a story with my eyes. Damn it, $120.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's what it was. That's exactly how I felt. And I worked real hard to not get incarcerated all my life, and y'all got me incarcerated all day long in this jail cell. I was so uncomfortable.
It's worth so
I did
much.
Not want to be there.
That's the funny part. Like I could understand your frustration. It's worth so much more to be able to convey that idea, like what you just said, that whole story, by just looking at them like that instead of using dialogue. It's actually better. It's more skilled.
Yeah.
He knew you could hurt him.
So. You got robbed, Kev. Except for the fact that you got paid to be in the Departed. That's not bad.
Yeah, but I wasn't in the credits. They don't put the extras in the credits, but everybody saw my face.
But that's where it's weird. Like, what's the delineation between an extra and not? Like, if you're in the scene with the main
$120
with the main character, like
the amount of pussy.
Well, I don't know, but there's still a difference between like you see in credits all the time. It'll be like the burger guy #1, and he gets in the credits, but somebody and he's just literally in the background. But somebody who's actually in the scene with one of the primary actors is just very odd to me.
Yeah,
it's called a
that was the gray area, because when you're an extra, the director's not supposed to talk to you. The director's not supposed to give you any direction. Once the director speaks to you, it takes you from being an extra to being a principal. And the pay goes from $126 a day to $700 a day.
I think it's a union.
It changes just that drastically. So they were trying to get over on me, thinking I didn't know better, but I knew better. So I'm watching them highlight me. They're cutting out lights to shine it right down on me, because I was the biggest black guy in the thing. So I'm everybody's nightmare in the jail cell.
Yeah, like it was an easy way for you to get into that part. I'm like, yeah, there's no way Leonardo DiCaprio is getting away from you.
Yes, exactly. So they were trying to create this visual without paying me what they were supposed to pay me. They ultimately didn't pay me. They didn't pay me, they paid me the $126. But I knew what they were trying to do. I knew what they ended up doing. Now, again, like I said, after the movie, the movie came out, it was nominated for an Academy Award. When the trailer was coming out, people kept calling me saying, "Hey, I saw you in The Departed." Everybody was so excited, but I would have never talked about it. I never talk about movies that I was just, in the background in. People started seeing me later. Once my face became a little more recognizable, they would see me in Lucky Number 11, or they saw me walking through the park in a chorus line or something like that. So people started identifying me, even though I was just in the background. People hit me up on Facebook, "Hey, I saw you in something." But I did about 20 or 30, background gigs, where you could just see me in a group, in a crowd or something like that.
And still no credit.
And on that note, being Leo DiCaprio's nightmare and all that, the description, the stereotype and all that. But you were turned down for a role in The Sopranos because you weren't black enough.
Oh, absolutely true story.
On the other side of that coin, I mean, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely true story. I went and auditioned for The Sopranos the last season, and I was playing the orderly. And I think it was David Chase who did my audition. David Chase created The Sopranos. I think it was David Chase, but I'm not absolutely sure. So when I tell the story, I just call him the guy asshole, and then I tell the story.
That asshole.
Yeah, so I did my scene. True story. And when I was done, this asshole says to me, "Kevin, could you do the scene again, but could you say it a little more black?" This dude told me that. And I couldn't believe my ears that it was, I don't know when the last season of Sopranos was, 2004 or 2000, I don't know what year it was. But I just couldn't believe that this was really happening to me in real life. Yeah, this dude telling me say it more black.
We were in the green room before the show, and we were talking about this a little bit because we found this fact, and I said it is really fucked up. Like I don't recall in my memory anyone ever being turned down for a role because they were too white.
Yeah,
like a white guy's playing Michael Jackson, so it doesn't. Yeah, it's that I read that and I went, that's really not cool. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, you're not black enough. They could just say no. They don't have to throw that in there.
Yeah. See, but you have to be devil's advocate sometimes. You have to look at where the question's coming from. And I guess I have to ask you to try to get across to you what he was trying to as a director type guy. What would be the verbiage you would be looking for?
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. I'm an actor. Like, I studied acting. Like, I'm not a former rapper who went to
Yeah,
acting. I'm an actor who
and that's
studied
why, and that's why I think this question really is real.
Well, here's the answer, right? The character that I was auditioning for, the role I was auditioning for, was the orderly at an old folks home, or at a, what do you call it, an assisted living
Yes.
place.
Yep.
So he's an orderly. It's not like he's a gangster. It's not like he's a drug dealer, or he's not thuggish. He's not hanging out on the corner.
Yeah,
he's an orderly at an old folks home who just happens to be black. So for me, the request was so insulting, because once you take the black guy and put him in the orderly uniform, which is the hospital scrubs.
Yep.
A nurse, profession.
Why does he have to sound a certain way? That was the thing I had a problem with. He wasn't a thug. If you want a thug and you tell a thug, sound more like a thug, sound more hood,
yep,
then use that verbiage. But why is it necessary to take a character of an orderly who happens to be a black guy and tell him sound more black? Really? Like, what am I sounding like to you?
A thug orderly is a not a good thing.
And I'm taking this even further down my thought shot here, Jefferson. Just we're taking a thought shot here.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Did this character have any backstory?
They did not develop his backstory. It was the last 6 episodes of The Sopranos.
Yes.
So you can go back to Netflix. And Uncle Junior, Tony Soprano's uncle, was getting older, and they were putting him in an old folks home. Now remember, Tony was the real head of the mob.
Yep.
But on paper, they were saying Uncle Junior was,
sure,
to deflect from Tony. Where Uncle Junior was losing his memory, and he was, forgetting things and messing things up, so they had to put him in an old folks home. So the backstory was never developed around the orderly. The backstory was about Uncle Junior.
And the point I'm getting at is, because of that, makes the request of what was asked.
They just wanted a blatant stereotype.
Yeah, what was complete bullshit.
Yeah.
It was just complete bullshit.
Yeah, that's the way I felt. That's what I felt. So you asked me to say it more black, and I said it exactly the same way.
Good on you, man.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Yeah.
That's.
Now, I didn't get the part. I don't recommend. I didn't get the part.
I said exactly the same. I love it.
I feel so fortunate that I found a little success in my career that I get a chance to at least tell this story. I think this is one of those stories that people need to hear, because it was only me and him in the room. I don't have any witnesses. He had his camera, he had his tripod, and it was just me and him. So there was nobody for me to turn to and say, "Do you see this bullshit?" Because nobody was there. But I love that I get a chance to, get a platform to expose this type of atrocity,
Yeah, you don't want to end up like Kesha.
I don't think he's worried about that.
No, I can't.
I mean, not to laugh
Some shit
at that,
happened.
but
Some really bad
it
shit
is-
possibly happened to Kesha, and she reported it. And now the judge was like, "Nah, I don't give a fuck." So it's.
Wait, what happened to Kesha? I didn't hear what happened to Kesha.
Oh, there was
It's a comedy show.
Yeah,
Let's just keep it there.
We'll talk offline, Kev. I'm
Okay,
not feeling
okay.
all in on Kesha.
She was forced into an uncomfortable position and got, fucking, I'm sorry for the pun,
Yeah.
screwed over in court and all that. But that's never mind.
The judge,
So-
the judge didn't buy it, so that's what happened to Kesha.
So
I believe Kesha. I
I-
believe her.
I have another question, and it's not about Kesha. Whatever her. That's a stage name. That's like
She's Kesha to me, baby.
whatever. You paid for acting classes by not you forgave buying a car. You gave it up. What was the car you bought after making that decision that you could that you bought? What was the next one?
Well, I want to know what the car he was gonna buy that he didn't buy.
Okay.
Wait, what?
All right, there was a list on the internet, and one of the odd.
In order to
things
pay
that
for
says-
acting lessons, you had to sacrifice getting a car.
Oh, okay.
So what was
What
the
was-
car
what was
that
the
was
car?
sacrificed?
And what was the car you got after you started to make it?
Okay, so it's a twofold sort of thing, but I drive a Lincoln Navigator, and all these hybrid cars came out. All the hybrid
like the
thing,
Lincoln Navigator's
gas saving and all that kind of stuff, eco-friendly. So I was going to get the newest Lincoln Navigator hybrid, which is probably $75,000, $80,000 car.
Of course.
And when I was, I had shopped around, I identified the car I was going to get, I went to the dealership, I had everything planned out that I was going to get this car, and then I thought, I can't say I thought better of it, but I just knew that that's the thing that we do. We make a little money and we go buy a car, and then, as soon as we drive the car off the lot, the car depreciates and the whole story. That's the thing that the black guys do. We buy a car, we get a white woman, and we buy some gold chains and stuff like that.
So the director of The Sopranos, when he asked you to be more black, you should have just went out and bought more chains and stuff. Just left the set. I'm going to go buy a car. I made like a couple $1,000. It's screw this part. You want me to be more black? I'm going to go buy a chain.
No, that guy was being a dick. That guy was being a dick. So.
All right, Lincoln Navigator.
Yeah, so it was a Lincoln Navigator that I had, and I was going to get the newest one. But you know what? I still haven't gotten a new car. I bought a home instead. So I bought myself a 3-family home, and I made that decision twice. One was that first one of sacrificing the car, and then the next one was not investing my money into something where as soon as you drive it off the lot, the value is gone. So I bought a 3-family home. I'm a new homeowner and a new landlord simultaneously. I have tenants. I invest in fixing up my property, and the car. I'm probably going to get the car. Probably going to get the car like sometime at the end of the year. I'm going to get a hybrid something.
Do your tenants love you or fear you?
Oh, it's a combination. My second floor tenants are terrified of me. They're my most recent tenants. My third floor tenant, she was here. I bought a nice house. Like, nobody wanted to move. So my second floor tenant, she loves the home. So she has a beautiful apartment. She knows I'm a sweetheart, and she has to remind me, Kevin, you own this house, right? There's certain things you can ask us to do that you're not asking us to do. She has to coach me sometimes. My second floor tenant, she, whenever she has a problem, she sends her son to ask me questions. She's afraid to talk to me just one-on-one. She's told me she's terrified of me.
Oh my God, she actually said it.
Well, you're going to get your rent on time.
Is that common? Does that happen a lot?
Well, my tenants are pretty good. Like one of my tenants, I have 3 families living in my house, and one of my tenants, I owned the house for 3 days, and he lived right across the street. So I'm in the house for 3 days, and I had the guys cleaning my house, my basement apartment. So while they were cleaning, they left the door open. So I was at, I had just closed in the house. I'm there for 3 days, and I'm at Walmart in New Jersey. So I get a call from my cleaning guy, and he says, yeah, the guy from across the street walked by while we were cleaning and stuck his head in the apartment, and he saw how big it was, and he wants to move right now. And I'm like, well, I've only been there for 3 days. I don't even know how much I'm going to charge for the apartment. He's like, the guy hates his apartment across the street, and he wants to move right now. He made me call you right now. So I'm like, well, how much do I charge? I don't know. Nobody told me how much to charge. So when I come back from Walmart, he's waiting outside, so he lives right directly across the street. His landlord kicks him out. So all of his stuff was on the street. And I'm just parking in front of my house. He's standing in front of his house, and he says, hey, I'm the guy from the phone. Can I move in right now? And I'm like, dude, I don't have we didn't do an application. I don't have a lease. I don't know how much to charge you. We negotiated right there, and he rented the apartment like 3 days after I moved in, and he's the greatest tenant. Like, he's never late. He's real helpful. He's even though people were warning me that he's a nightmare tenant, he's just the greatest. He fixes things, you know, so he's just a really good tenant.
Not a hipster.
What's that?
Not a hipster.
Well, he might be a hipster. He works for the club, he works for the disco.
Okay. A handy hipster. Those are the best kind.
Yeah. He works for the disco. He's out at night. Like, he'll come in at like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning every night.
Those are bar hours. Those are normal bar hours, yeah. Yeah.
He's a perfect tenant and never been late. And then one of my tenants is a little late right now for some strange reason. Hasn't paid me last month's rent either. I hope she's listening so she can know. She can know I'm living with my rent money. But for the most part, they're all great. Yeah, for the most part, I got a great group of people.
That's great. I did that instead of buying a nice hot rod out of college. I bought a car, or I bought a house instead of buying a hot car and all that. I was like, hey, I can buy one of these Corvettes, or I could have somewhere to live.
Yeah. But the thing is, you know, it's an investment. You're building up equity in the house and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, there's so many more benefits. You get a lot of tax deductions that you have to, you know, you have to get them in there from the IRS. But yeah, it's a lot of benefits. I'm glad about the decision I made.
Yes, it's very good. I remember when I took the workshop with you it was about 3.5 years ago. I've been trying to remember it. That Tracy Morgan used to do something to you guys on the set. Like, he would read something in the paper and then say it happened to him and acted depressed or bummed. Like, my dog got hit by a car and it didn't happen. He was always cranking
let me tell you something. Tracy Morgan is so full of crap, right? This dude is so full of crap. And it's one of those things that, now the reason I know he's full of crap and the reason I can say it so boldly is because I'm one of the few people that knew him pre-money and post-money. You know, he has his new friends. He has, you know, Jimmy Fallon's and Jimmy Kimmel's and all the celebrities, you know, Lorne Michaels. They've known him for a long time, but they know him as a celebrity Tracy Morgan, on TV, guest star, and all that kind of stuff. Funny guy. Howard Stern met him after. You know, they meet you after you're successful. I met him, you know, before his success. I met him when, you know, his clothes were dirty and wrinkled, and he was still hilarious. He was still hilariously funny. But I knew him from then. And then, fast forward to, you know, 8, 10, 15 years later, I got a chance to work with him for an additional 7 years after he had become Tracy Morgan, you know. So I'm one of those people that knew both sides of the coin. And when I met Tracy the second time, you know, I was always a fan. He always made me laugh. You know, he just made me laugh when other comedians didn't make me laugh. He was always hilarious to me. So I was a fan like that, but I'm also a friend, you know. And I saw, you know, all sides of his thing. So I watched this guy, and he was telling us a story. We were in the dressing room. He's telling us this story about him and his girlfriend. He says, yeah, do you ever watch your girlfriend sleep? And I can quote it because it was just such an amazing moment. You ever watch your girlfriend sleep? I've watched the girl now. He's talking about his girlfriend that he was with at the time before he got married recently. But he's like, yeah, I watched her sleep. And while she was sleeping, she's grinding her teeth, and he had real detailed references to what he was doing watching his girlfriend sleep.
Grinding her teeth.
What a creep.
And we're sitting there, and we're listening to this story, and we're amazed by the detail of his story. And then a door just went over in my head saying that sounds just like what Blair Underwood said on an episode of In Treatment on HBO about a couple of months ago. So it goes off in my head, and what happened in my mind was, oh snap, HBO stole Tracy's story. Like, that's what went through my mind. So when I say, I start realizing that I heard these lines before. So I said, Tracy, you know what? It's amazing that you're telling me this story today. You're telling us this story because that reminds me of something Blair Underwood said In Treatment. Now, he said I was, that I busted him, but I didn't think that he stole the line from HBO. I thought HBO stole the story from him because I was believing the story. I'm eating it up. So when I bring it up, he busts out laughing and goes, "Oh, yeah, caught me, right?" So now everybody's looking at me like, "Oh, this dog, you know what? Nothing to do with it, but tells us it's true. He really tells us it's true. He's always making it." So that's the story of Tracy's life. When he tells these stories, he's not really talking to anybody in the room. He's practicing his material for his next stand-up comedy show. And you're just the guinea pig. That's all it is.
He's running material on you.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
That's one way to practice live. That's probably one of the hardest things I've had to deal with at an open mic.
And the most annoying people to be around is the ones that don't actually talk to you, unless they're brilliant. Because then
yeah. Well, if you watch a Tracy Morgan interview, what's so amazing about his interview is he never answers the question that they ask him.
So he's the perfect politician.
Yeah. He doesn't care what you say. He's going to say something off the wall, crazy funny, that just sounds so bizarre. And he has such a gift. It's a gift. Like, y'all are asking me questions now. And I decided before this interview that I'm going to answer your questions. I decided that. But if we were in front of an audience, I wouldn't answer any of the questions you asked.
Well,
thank you.
So if I were to ask you, do you have any pets?
So you guys now, I'll be like, I don't have any pets. I'm allergic to dogs and cats and everything else. But if we were in front of an audience and you asked me about do I have any pets, I would tell you a pet story. I'd probably tell you about the story of my girlfriend. So I dated this girlfriend. Now I'm going to do it now. So I dated this chick, right? And she had these two cats, right? Beautiful chick. And she had these two cats, and I'm allergic to cats. So every time I went to her house, I would have to take Benadryl to be around the cats. But she's beautiful. She became my woman. She loves these cats. I got to take Benadryl. Benadryl is the one that makes you sleepy, makes you dry.
Very, very sleepy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so it's the only one that works for me, right? So I would take the Benadryl before I go to her house, and then, I could be around the cats. And I'm fine around the cats for about 45 minutes. So I'm doing this every day, taking Benadryl, I go around the cats, and I'm good for 45 minutes, and I started getting sleepy. So she started feeling guilty that I got to take Benadryl every day, right? So she messed around and she got rid of the cats. She gave one to a neighbor and one to a cousin. So I come in one day and she don't have the cats anymore. And I'm like, what happened to the cats? She said, I gave away the cats because I felt guilty you taking the Benadryl. So I thought that was a sweet gesture, but she ruined our relationship. So now I don't have to take the Benadryl anymore, right? When I go to the house, I'm wide awake the whole time. And that's when I realized that I could only stand her for 45 minutes with a shot. So, of course, we ended up breaking up. And now she's without me, she's without the cats, and it was just horrible.
I would have got her a kitten.
Well, that's what I would say if we was in front of an audience. If we were in front of an audience, I just answered the question.
To make it a show. I like that.
Thank you for answering the questions. I hope you don't get these type of questions while you're on stage. That'd be kind of awkward, right?
Dude, I do a show every Tuesday and Thursday at a club in Times Square called LOL. And so I performed there today's what? Wednesday, right? So I performed there last night. So I go on stage and I'm trying to do my set. And this woman who's from, out of town, she's from the South somewhere. So she looks up at me, I'm telling my joke, and I set up my joke, and then she says, why are your britches so low So long. She used the word britches last night.
Britches.
Britches. So I said, britches? She said, yeah, why are your britches staying so low? I thought black guys had big booties. This happened. I'm not making a word of this up. This happened last night. She kept interrupting my show because she couldn't understand why my britches were down so low. And she said it 3 different times. But that black guys have big butts. And I'm like, yes, believe me, I do have a big butt, but I'm also trying to do a show right now. And you keep interrupting me. Why are you so fascinated with my britches? It still says britches anymore anyway. But that happened last night.
Wow. That is, I don't think I've heard britches in the last decade.
You are right about that.
My grandmother doesn't even say britches. She calls them dungarees.
Yeah, well, your grandmother's Mexican, so it doesn't matter.
Well,
It doesn't even make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. It's Jefferson, so it's fine. Kevin, it has been fantastic having you on Pipe Dream. It really has.
No.
This has been a great conversation.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And make sure all your listeners in the Schenectady area and the Albany area and all in Billington and Rochester and everybody come check us out at the Quest Theater on April 30th, right?
Yes.
You got it.
Yeah, man. One joke wonder, bring your funniest joke. It's going to be off the chain.
Bring your funniest joke, April 30th, Quest Theater in Schenectady. Kevin
826
Brown.
State Street, Schenectady, New York. 826 State Street.
826.
Yeah.
If you missed that the first 9 times, it's cool. But 826. Kevin Brown.
One joke wonder.
One joke wonder. Well, what's the Twitter here? At dot. What, I had it right here.
.com 30 Rock.
.com 30 Rock. I'm like, I had it right in front of me. Hey, and I want to throw a big happy birthday to Kevin Brown.
Oh,
Just had
yeah. I
his
forgot about that. Yeah, it's my birthday.
I forgot about
birthday.
that. Not today. Was the 4th, I believe.
Yeah, Monday was my birthday.
Monday. You know what? Once you get past a certain age, you really do forget
yeah.
like what day and shit your birthday is.
Happy birthday. Thanks for fucking reminding me.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
I finally understand why my father hated when I said happy birthday to him. I finally understand. It's just one of those things that doesn't make a difference to me anymore. It's nice
Yeah,
to
you
hear.
know,
It's nice to
That's
hear.
a certain point in manhood. We got everything we want for the most part. There's nothing we want that anyone's ever going to buy us.
No,
Yeah.
if you bought me Kit from Knight Rider, I think I would be your endangered slave forever. So
Yeah, but who's going to ever do that?
We don't know. You don't know.
If your girlfriend was a Kit fan, you might buy that for your girlfriend, but there's no way she'll ever buy that.
No, my wife thinks the car is straight up white trash and will never let me buy it. So there's a point.
Have you seen the cheeseburger barf video of the Kit driver recently, Michael Hassel? Yeah, it is kind of trashy.
Yeah, still, it's something that I'm a child of the '80s, and that is one thing I didn't negotiate prior to marriage because it just didn't come up in topic yet, and I regret it every day.
I'm a homoerotic race car, Michael. I mean, it's just,
Listen, negotiations prior to marriage don't count either. I mean, the women change. They change the negotiation anytime they feel like it. So negotiations are irrelevant almost.
it's all hollow suggestions.
Yeah.
See, but even though that's my wife's thought, if I went and bought her a Lotus, she would let me go buy whatever the fuck I wanted. So that's either that or a Shelby Cobra.
So you need a lot of money to buy your freedom.
Yeah, exactly. I need a lot of money to buy my freedom. Is the end moral of the conversation with Kevin Brown, aka.com. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes,
it has
thank
been a
you very
pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome.
I will see you on April 30th. You take care, sir. We'll talk soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
What an amazing call. What an amazing call. Technology has over surpassed its limited amount of time of
Is that a
proper
word?
functional. What I was actually trying to do is do what we talked about that politicians do, is say a lot of words that don't really mean anything at the end of the sentence and or the question that was
but
asked.
I don't even think over surpassed is a word.
Surpassed, uber surpassed. I don't know. Over surpassed. I'm good with it. I'm good with it.
Sure, what the hell?
That's what we're rolling with. That has been a quick hour.
It certainly
on
was.
Pipedream. That was.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
That went rather fast.
That was very
and I
quick.
even peed twice, which never happens during a show.
If the bladder of a 3-year-old.
Whatever for today, I've had the bladder and the other end of either a 3-year-old or an elderly person. I don't know yet.
Pretty much the same thing.
I don't
Getting there.
know. I went 5 times today.
I have the bladder of a 3-year-old in my glove box.
Oh!
Awkward.
Go to break.
Awkward. Jeremy, what's up, Brad?
Not much. Did you pee twice while you were in there that first time?
No,
I saw
that
you
was
go
just
time.
one gigantic pee.
I saw you leave once. You're sitting right next to me.
No, I went right at I went right before the show started, I guess. Okay, maybe so only once, calling me out in the amount of times
See?
I peed.
See?
Interesting.
Pays attention.
Yeah, he is paying attention.
Pays attention.
Oh, see, there's a pun I would have never picked up on. Never, ever, ever.
We don't do puns.
He pays close attention to everything.
These guys try. I don't. I had a pun. What was it the other night? You called me out on, and I don't remember what it was. But
Not me either. So
That's
it. Jeremy from Revolution Vapor, 72 flavors, a premier e-juices for your vaping pleasure. Go check out the website revolutionvapor.com. It's been awesome having you.
It's been wonderful. I'm glad we got .com on.
Doc, I was hoping you got the warning that that was gonna kind of consume things.
Absolutely.
Sure did.
It did. Jefferson, thank you for
We'll be back.
the coolest shit you've done is listening to .com. And
Thank you for
and
not
the
czarring.
Yeah,
That's an inside joke, everybody. And I'm glad he liked
you
it.
could have been czar
Oh,
during
man.
the show. Jeremy, let's get you back on where we can have some more audio time with you.
Absolutely.
Not like you're a stranger at this point.
Come on
I
down.
almost expect you every week. It's kind of
Good.
it's kind of interesting
Good to be here.
having you drop in. Jefferson,
Hey now.
what can you do to surpass the cool shit that has happened this evening?
Well, there's only one way to over surpass what's happened this evening.
Yes,
by
using
coming
fake,
back next week.
ooh, using fake words and joining us again
Yes,
next week.
yes.
That is special right there.
That's what I do.
Joe Green, spell it.
Yes.
J-O-E.
Next week's going to be Pat.
J-O-E. What did you say?
Started spelling it.
Well, I know he started spelling. I thought he said Eli Manning.
I just said J-O-E.
Yeah,
Joe spelled J-O-E.
Eli Manning.
Manning football. I think out loud. People don't give me coffee much.
April 30th.
April 30th to be the One Joke Wonder. Next week we have Pat DeBerry in studio and Joe Bronzy Skyping in.
Joe Bronzy.
Yes, Joe Bronzy Skyping in. We're all three of us are on a show in Little Falls
How far is
on
that
the
away?
16th.
You ever
I
been
believe.
to Big Falls?
God damn.
Fuck up, Jefferson.
Next to Medium Falls. It's the first one. It's the little one. Then there's Extra Large Falls and Jumbo Falls.
You're gonna have Venti Falls and fucking
Oh,
Tall Falls and
no.
Starbuck Falls.
We're not in Mexico.
It's not Mexican. Jesus Christ. It's Italian. I believe it's Italian.
What is?
The Starbucks nomenclature for small, medium, and large. Tall, venti, and douchebag. Grande and douchebag.
I think it's like Haagen-Dazs. I think it's just gibberish.
Well, it's just stupid.
I don't know. I'm sure Venti's a word.
I fucked with them on accident last week when I stopped at you stop and get coffee other places so much. You just say, give me a medium, this and that.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I pulled up the thing, ordered medium, whatever.
Medium, light, and sweet. It's like,
Yeah.
fuck you, go to Dunkin' Donuts.
Right. And I pulled up to the window and the guy says, do you have the venti, whatever? I said, no, the medium thing. I didn't even think of it. I'm sure he gets
Thing.
dickheads that do that to him all the time, and I did it on
Yeah.
accident.
But you're not the dickhead.
Yeah.
No, well,
He
you're
doesn't
not
know that. He doesn't know that.
You're not the dickhead because somebody in fucking Rotterdam is leaning out a window and speaking Italian. They're the dickhead.
That's a good point. Fuck them.
The medium. No, it's Venti. Dude, we're in fucking Newark.
Thoughts on Starbucks, Jeremy?
It just made me giggle because I was like,
Don't
yeah,
drink
whatever.
coffee.
Don't drink coffee. There's the Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts off the list. Don't even get
It
anything.
could just be called medium, large, and small.
Yeah,
we could
that's
avoid the whole
kind of what
They're fancy.
Yeah, fuck, they're fancy.
I'm sure they
Shit's
cost
burnt, overpriced microwave crap.
Thank you all for tuning in to Pipe Dream.
And I hope they sponsor the show at some point.
I had a gift card.
Yeah, you had a gift card. You got your shitty brownie and your burnt coffee.
No brownie, just a coffee.
Make sure to check out all the podcasts right here on the Comedy Pipe Radio Network, the HV Funny Podcast, the What You Got Podcast, the Loose News Podcast, Fuck You Podcast, Joe Green, Indian Bohemian Podcast, and the Dumbing It Down with Dave Podcast, Dumb with Dave for the Twitter and the website, and fuckyoujoeagain.com. I'm going to end the show.
Do it.
We'll see y'all next week.
Do it.
Super loud music.
Wet